Good, happy Wednesday morning, Wednesday, August 11, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's get started right now. First up, one victim in hospital after shooting on Amherst Street in Manchester, police say. Officials say one victim in hospital. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
My old roof was an asphalt roof. It was really starting to look ragged. It's an island house. I wanted it to blend.
Well, Monica, this shooting happened right around 6 o'clock this evening, but you can see here behind me, officers are still on scene. Now, right now, Amherst Street is blocked off from Ashland Street down to Lincoln Street. Manchester police say they were called to the 400 block of Amherst Street for reports of gunshots in the area. Sources telling News 9 that a man in his late 20s was shot. He was taken to a local hospital, and it's believed that he suffered a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Tonight, Manchester's police chief tells us this scene is contained and there is no threat to the general public. Now, we did see officers going door to door in this neighborhood talking with residents as they work to figure out just what exactly happened here. Manchester police say this investigation is still in its early stages, but again, one person hurt in a shooting here on Amherst Street in Manchester. That person is expected to be okay. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story and provide any updates both on air and online as soon as they become available. For now, reporting live in the Queen City, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Hospitals see staffing issues, patient backlogs as COVID-19 cases rise in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Step back in time, high above New Hampshire's Lakes region, at Castle in the Clouds. Explore the
COVID cases are on the rise, the Delta variant spreading quickly.
We're all watching very closely as the number of COVID infections has gone up over the last several weeks.
Steve Ahnen, president of the New Hampshire Hospital Association, joining doctors from around the state today on a call to get a pulse on the situation on the ground. More than 18 months into this pandemic, and not only are case numbers heading in the wrong direction, but hospitals are playing catch up. Catholic Medical Center says they've been busy and the cases are not all COVID related.
There were a lot of people that put off health care, especially elective things or the management of chronic illness because of COVID. So all the hospitals in the state really started trying to work through that backlog.
And they're working through the backlog short-staffed. Dr. Gilbert estimates around 30% vacancy rate at facilities statewide.
The nursing shortages are making it harder for all the hospitals to open beds, open up different units.
The critical need for nurses and medical staff comes at a time when hospitals are bracing for another potential surge of cases moving into the fall.
Since we're starting to see the uptick in numbers, we're starting to pivot to implement the different policies and procedures that will keep our patients and our staff safe.
The biggest message from doctors is get vaccinated, saying it's the only way to prevent hospitalizations and death from COVID.
The scientific evidence and the real world data has really demonstrated that they are safe and highly effective in preventing illness, preventing severe illness, and preventing hospitalizations.
I'm Nicole Lally, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 testing sites in New Hampshire seeing increased demand. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Come see Darla and Hildy at Clark's Bears in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Visit clarksbears.com to reserve your tickets today.
In the parking lot of the Mall of New Hampshire, on-site medical services has been offering both PCR and antigen COVID testing since February.
You could find out your results in under an hour.
And recently, things are getting busy once again as the location is starting to see demand for tests rise.
They're much higher. Yeah, we're right back to the numbers where we were at the original part of the pandemic.
It's a trend that appears to be happening statewide. In the last 3 weeks, testing in New Hampshire has increased by 45%, now up to 3,000 to 4,000 tests a day.
I think it's a combination of factors. You have relaxed guidelines, and still a significant portion of the population unvaccinated.
Even the vaccinated are getting tested, something Keaty encourages.
It's not really the people that are vaccinated and are completely fine with their health, but it's the other folks that you may come into contact with. The people with a lot of illnesses, that you need to be tested and make sure that you are not going to pass on the illness to them.
But one of the biggest issues with the increased demand, staffing.
We do offer a $600 signing bonus for anyone that's interested, but we still have issues finding adequate staff.
Keaty says the number of tests coming back positive has also jumped. Right now, positivity rates are hovering around 3 to 5%.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire senators say $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill could be beneficial for Granite State economy. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Securing broadband internet for Bristol has been a full-time job for town administrator Nick Coates.
The big thing for us is going to be that we're going to be able to start covering every home.
Coates considers high-speed internet a vital piece to the town's economy and public safety.
This is huge because now we can start to connect our police and fire departments with neighboring police and fire departments.
This is the biggest investment in infrastructure in the United States in over 50 years.
As one of the lead negotiators on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan, Senator Jeanne Shaheen helped secure $65 billion to expand broadband access.
When we invest in infrastructure, we create jobs, whether it's building roads, repairing our bridges, again, building out high-speed internet.
Other elements in the bill are $110 billion for road and bridge repair, $65 billion to bolster the nation's power grid, and $55 billion to revitalize drinking water infrastructure. Senator Maggie Hassan says expanding passenger rail is also part of it.
I think about the impact it would make on the quality of people's lives as well as the quality of our environment and the capacity to attract people to our state, to have a connection between Boston, Nashua, Manchester, and Concord.
But Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who voted for this bill, is now expressing concerns about the framework of a $3.5 trillion budget proposal being pushed by some Democrats.
If they want inflation and tax hikes to be their legacy, then Republicans do not currently have the votes to spare the American families this nightmare.
Now, next up, the bill will be voted on by the House of Representatives, with the House out for August recess, though that may not take place until the fall.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire housing market data shows home sales down in July, prices up from previous year. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Come see Darla and Hildy at Clark's Bears in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Visit clarksbears.com to reserve your tickets today.
After a wild pandemic-driven year, there are signs New Hampshire's red-hot real estate market may be starting to cool off.
We're seeing a little bit of balance happening, fortunately, for some buyers in the state. We're seeing a little less attendance at open houses. a lot more New Hampshire license plates and less Massachusetts, Connecticut license plates.
In a new report, the New Hampshire Association of Realtors says from July of 2020 to July 2021, sales of single-family homes are down 14.8%, while the median sales price of a single-family home is up 18.2%. Inventory is way down from last year too, but that trend line is moving.
So while the inventory was really low in the beginning of the year, we're seeing a much greater increase each week. Let's say in the beginning of the year, it was hovering around 1,000 single-family homes for sale at any given week. Now we're more around 1,800 for sale.
Even though sales are down, single-family homes continue to be snapped up almost as soon as they're listed.
It all happened very quickly. It was basically, my wife and I decided that we wanted to make the move, put it on the real estate websites on a Wednesday, showings on a Friday and a Saturday, and we had 13 offers by Sunday night. So, yeah, it happened really fast.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Medical Society says current vaccination rates in New Hampshire not enough to stop Delta variant. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When it's time to invest in a new roof, be smart and look at more factors than just the final price. Not all roofs are the...
If we don't act, we don't get those numbers up, almost assuredly we'll be in the same situation as some of the southern states.
James Potter of the New Hampshire Medical Society says the highly contagious Delta variant makes it critical to raise the vaccination rate over 70%, especially as schools are set to reopen and people move indoors.
We don't have the luxury to kind of sit back and hope. We really have to change tactics and look and urge all business sectors and all organizations to reconsider how they can promote COVID vaccines among their employees.
The state's healthcare community leading by example.
This is what we're doing. We're asking that employees of healthcare settings be required to be vaccinated.
And some are. Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health requiring its workforce be vaccinated by the end of next month. Anthem requiring its associates be vaccinated when they return to the office, adding financial incentives.
What I would say to individual businesses or employers or manufacturers is the real possibility this fall of shutdowns, if we stay the same, are very, very real. So we have to act now.
While there aren't masking mandates and mitigation strategies currently in place, he says they are encouraging businesses and organizations to reconsider those kinds of prevention steps for any indoor settings. Live in Portsmouth, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.